There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With over 140 channels in your vehicle, your all-access trial includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video on Demand. What you love is on now.
Now, when it comes to the marine audio game, it's hard to deny that Fusion Audio isn't one of the biggest players. Big news for you Canadian retailers out there. Fusion is now available in Canada through our friends at Trends Electronics. So today, we welcome Grant McFatter, their National Sales Director, to come on the show and tell us all about this leading line of products, especially in the source unit category. Hey, thanks for joining us for this edition of CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM. We're talking about Fusion Marine Audio, and it starts now. Well, first and foremost, I want to welcome everybody back because this right here represents our very first broadcast for the 2022 season. And it represents something new. It's a new page for us. It's a new platform, right? You might have heard of it, cmanetworks.com. We've reprogrammed the whole thing, developed it from the ground up. It's got an incredible engine in there for searching all the information and training that you want. So I do encourage you to check it out. And this particular episode marks the kickoff of our very first themed session. Of course, we're talking about the marine audio session. So as you'll see, as the year progresses, we're going to have a specific theme that we're going to cater to and have feature brands within every theme throughout the year. So again, we're kicking off the next few days with marine audio sessions. And what better way to kick off than with a brand that is certainly established in the marine audio game, but now has a footprint here in Canada through Trends Electronics, who's just picked it up. So I'm sure our guest today is super excited to talk about it. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome to this edition of Connected, Mr. Grant McFatter, the National Sales Director for Trends Electronics. Mr. McFatter.
Hey, Ben, my man, first session of the year.
I couldn't think of a better person to help me kick this off than you, sir.
Well, I'm humbled to be that person. Thank you very much.
You heard my excitement in the intro. We're kicking off the year with marine audio, which I know is a category that Trends Electronics takes very, very seriously. And to boot, not only do you have multiple presentations within this sessions, but a new brand today that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, it's we're heavy in the marine category. We've got brands like Wet Sounds, Aquatic AV, Exile Audio, and MTX. So this has been one that's been on my radar for a while. It wasn't easy to get a hold of anyone at Fusion. It's a big company when you're dealing with the Garmin brand of families of products.
And I know you're excited to add this new brand to the catalog. So tell us a little bit about this how you got Fusion into the family.
So we've been like I said, our standpoint on marine is obviously to get as much of a wide variety of offerings to the market. It's a huge category. We're barely still, as car audio is pretty well established. Marine audio is still kind of in its infancy. So it's still easy to integrate a lot of marine audio products into new boats. Some of the new cars, it's not so easy. You've got some OEM integration classes coming up, I'm sure, but marine audio is still really easy for guys to get into. It's a category that people spend a lot of money on. And, for us, it was important to round out our offering with Fusion. So, with head units is the main thing that people drive to Fusion for, but they got a great product offering throughout the line, whether it's amplifiers, speakers, accessories. It's just great, rounds out our portfolio perfectly.
I mentioned Fusion's been in the game for a while. I remember Fusion came out with car audio, obviously, at first. So can you just give us a little insight? I mean, the brand is really transitioned now into marine audio, and you mentioned Garmin.
Yeah, so I mean, I remember Fusion. I'm sure you do. They started off 20 years ago. There's a company out of New Zealand, and they started off with the green aliens. And I remember seeing those at boat shows and car shows. Like, what the hell is this green alien thing about? So the car audio side of things, wasn't a great product offering. A lot of guys jumped on board as soon as it transitioned over to the Fusion marine side of things, because they had very unique products. They had products that have multiple zones. The big thing that's really with the acquisition from Garmin in 2014, I believe it was, is really integrating the head unit side of things with the NEMA 2000 platform, which is the marine audio. The marine industry knows it very well, where you can have your chart plotter control your audio system and vice versa. So Fusion is by far the biggest and strongest brand that caters to the NEMA 2000 line of products.
And I want to highlight what you're saying there, because, I did a little bit of research, when it comes to the 12-volt marine side of things, there's a clear edge here when it comes to Fusion being owned by Garmin. Garmin is a brand that has its, hands a little bit everywhere, but very strong in the marine sonar and chart plotter industry, right? And I've seen how the integrations happen and the technology that's being shared. So I think there's a lot to discover there, and I think hopefully we'll be able to cover some of that today.
I hope so too. Yeah, I mean, it's an exciting category, man. We're super happy to have them on board.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's dive in and find out what Fusion is all about. I think we have a video queued up that kind of whets our appetite to get us into the mode of learning a little bit more. So why don't we go ahead and play the video, and then we'll come back and see where we go from there.
All right.
If anything, Grant, that video there just further illustrates what we're talking about when it comes to the integration of the Fusion products with the other technologies that Garmin owns. But I saw a lot of clutch keywords in that presentation: Ethernet, NMEA 2000, DSP, which I'm curious to learn about. And if anything, and I'll let you, I'd like to hear what you have to say, but the fit and finish, my goodness, that stuff looked pretty high end.
Yeah, the fit and finish in the product is gorgeous. The packaging, the retail packaging is gorgeous as well. Super high end. I have some here we'll show a little bit later. But yeah, I mean, the brand top to bottom is certainly first class.
So you mentioned earlier on, Grant, that the primary focus for you guys at Trans was certainly the source unit offering that Fusion offers. But you also said it is a full line, right?
Yeah, absolutely. When we first started talking to them, most of their business is in the head unit category, but we looked at whenever we pick up a new line, whatever brand it is, we like to give them full support no matter what they have as an offering. So, I talked to the guys, and we were, it's not only the head units we're supporting their amplifiers, we're supporting speakers, tower speakers, subwoofers, and a nice side gig that came out of it because they're a Garmin brand. We're actually doing the Garmin dash cameras now too, which is a nice little bonus for picking up the Fusion line.
Nice, very nice. Great news for all Trends customers. Okay, here's my suggestion. Why don't we go through the line so our dealers understand what the whole line encompasses? And maybe after that quick presentation, we can just circle back and pick a few key products that I know you have in hand and excited to show us on the camera.
You bet.
All right. Let's go ahead and pull up the presentation here for the 2022 Fusion product line.
So that's our flagship baby. That's the RA 770. That's the Cadillac, the Escalade, whatever you want to call it, flagship piece. That is by far the top seller. It's not an inexpensive head unit, but when you see what it has for feature set, it's loaded, man. It's 4 zones of audio. Each zone's got left, right, subwoofer pre-outs. You can adjust each zone independently. You can name them whatever you want. You can have Ben's cabin speakers, Sheldon's zone, Vendrasco's cabin, whatever you want to call it. You can label it all, customize it. And integration with NEMA 2000 networks, creating a Wi-Fi network. You've got, if you're streaming your audio instead of going through Bluetooth, which is always, it's barely better than MP3. You can do Apple Play too.
I see that. That's actually queued up right there with Apple AirPlay.
Much higher sound quality when you're streaming your audio. And
I need to mention, of course, Sirius XM ready, no less.
Absolutely, of course, it's in the bottom right-hand corner there, man. Absolutely. You can't no AM radio out on the ocean, buddy. You got to have your Sirius XM.
That's right. Really slick and clean, no doubt about it. And I see there's a full color display there as well for artwork for our album art.
Yeah, the 770 is a full color screen. It also has touch screen. It's the industry's first marine touchscreen radio.
Oh, I didn't realize that. So that's all touchscreen on the right.
Yeah, all those buttons are live. So play, track up and down, pause. There's no hard buttons on it. So ultra clean display. It's got a super mirror-like finish. I don't know if you can make it out from the video, but it is gorgeous. It really is.
Yeah, sexy. That's what it is. It's absolutely sexy. No doubt.
It's a good word for it.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
So I just put this in to show some of the awards they've gotten, from, early in 2011 all the way up to recently, top products for the marine boating industry for top product of the year. They got the Pittman Innovation Award for technology in the boating industry. Of course, the NEMA 2000s going all the way back to 2012, all the way up to currently the Product of Excellence awards. Innovation awards for NEMA product as well in 2017 and 18, and then the DAME awards as well, which is the marine electronics category, which is, I believe it's based out of the New Zealand market. But there's not a lot of brands out there that have this kind of recognition simply just on their head unit products.
Specifically in the marine industry too. These are all marine focused type organizations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone else is in catch-up mode. These guys have been leading the charge for a number of years, but there's other good brands up and coming that are going after this category. This one here, the Fusion Link technology, it shows on there that your chart plotters, so you don't have to have an actual Fusion head unit per se. There is a Hideaway black box piece that's it's actually not a black box; it's a white box piece available for these that's brand new. We'll talk about. But you see all the brands on there: Ray Marine, Furuno, Loran, Simrad, B&G, Hummingbird, all the world's best chart plotters. So anyone that's got a big, cruiser boat, 30-foot plus, they've got one of these devices on their boat, and no better way to integrate your audio system in it with a Fusion head unit of some sort.
I'm just going to stop you here. You happen to be touching a funny bone for me because this is my world, right? I love fishing, and I don't think that's a secret. But these large chart plotters, you're saying that the Hideaway Fusion unit is compatible with all these brands? Is that what you're saying here?
Correct. Yeah. So you don't have to have on the slide there, you've got the Fusion head unit above the steering wheel. You don't have to have that piece there at all. There is a Hideaway.
So the interface is on the unit. It's on the chart plotter itself.
Correct. Yeah. So that's the white box piece, the little WB 670. That's all you need. That gets hidden away. That's basically the RA670 head unit as a hideaway piece.
Wow. Especially for those
So it's
bigger
good.
boats that come factory with these big chart plotters. That's a great option.
Yeah. And you don't want to be cutting into the dash of a, you know, multi-million dollar boat to put your radio in there. This can hide away nice and easy.
Excellent. Very cool feature. And
Yeah, so
unique,
that's
might I add.
very unique. As far as I'm aware, anyway, I don't think anyone else is really playing at any kind of significance with chart plotters. So we have the leading edge product for sure.
Very cool.
The other thing that's really cool with it is the technology with their, you know, obviously with their app. There's the Fusion Link app you can get. You can control your audio from your smartphone, from your Garmin watch, from any Android or Apple device. Basically, you can control your audio system as well. So you don't have to have your fingertips on the head unit itself. You can have your Garmin watch and changing tracks, turning up volume, you know, controlling zones. Again, no one else has got that. So
And does that go the same for the Hideaway unit, Grant?
Correct. Yeah, the Hideaway unit is essentially like just like a regular head unit. It's just a Hideaway piece. So once you're connected to the Wi-Fi network on the boat, which we create their own hub, you've got access to everything.
Sweet. All right. Oh, I went too far. There we go.
That's okay. Just a quick slide on showing you the different formats you can change. You know, you've got your phone, your smartphone, your watch, anything like that. You can control your audio system from. So just another way to something different from everyone else.
And along that theme, that same theme of extending that technology and compatibility throughout, you know, other products.
Yeah, as old guys like me, you know, I don't even have a smartwatch. I've got my old school Oakley gearbox watch on, but you know, these Vendrasco guys, these young guys here, they've all got their smartwatches on. So I got to catch up on the technology.
Does that mean we're young if we have a smartwatch? Is that what you're saying?
No, you're younger than me, so yeah, you're younger.
All right. This caught my attention, Graham. I'm not going to lie to you. When I saw this in the video, DSP is this the head unit we're talking about here?
Yeah, in the head unit, they have their form of DSP. It's a little different from what some of our car audio guys might be used to. It's not a you don't have to control it with your laptop. So this is they've done DSP gone simple, basically, is the best way to kind of describe it. So they give you access to each zone by controlling the volume in each zone. You've got an equalizer for each zone. You can adjust variable loudness curves. So at low volumes, you can have the bass boosted, the treble boosted, again, all on independent zones. You've got a volume booster. If at certain volumes you want to boost certain frequencies, you can do that. So that's the equalizer section out of it. You know, it's just loaded for what it gives the end user, I guess, DSP control without having to be a rocket scientist or trained on traditional DSP products that our 12-volt guys are familiar with. You know, with the you know, whether it's an Audison, whether it's a Helix piece or you know, a Moscone piece. It's not that type of DSP. It's DSP for everyone that can make sense of it and be easy to use.
And handy, to be honest, especially in a marine environment. Some of these features you just mentioned could definitely come in handy, especially the different loudness curve settings and the volume boosters, depending on location of speakers. You're talking about a multi-zone setup or whatnot. So I see definitely the benefits of this.
It's pretty detailed in what you can do. You can control the different equalizer curves for the environment you're in. If you're in the helm of the boat, if you're in the cabin of a boat, if you're out in the open air, obviously you're compensating for the wind noise, the water noise. So you want to have your mid-range and your high frequencies boosted. It does it all simple for you. It gives you those zones and those areas, there's about 12 different areas they list on the app that you can do. And it makes, like I said, it makes it simple. It does all the equalization for you. If you're doing a full fusion system top to bottom, so head unit, amplifiers, speakers, when you go into the speaker selection, you can actually select the model number of a fusion speaker, and it knows what the best performance of that, you know, if it's a signature speaker or it's an FX series speaker, it knows what that speaker is designed for, and it'll do the EQ curve for you automatically. There's no guesswork.
Nice. So very optimized to stay on brand for the whole system.
Yeah. Yeah. Amplifier setting is pretty cool too with our Apollo amplifiers. You know, I'm not an installer, but I know that installers, tucked underneath the cuddy somewhere and trying to screw in the amplifier and setting gains when they're upside down is not the easiest thing to do. So you can mount the amplifier, go to the app, and adjust all your gain settings, your crossover settings from the link, from the app itself.
Nice.
So super easy to do.
So no mini screwdrivers in weird corners and darkness too. Okay,
no.
Gotcha.
This one's pretty cool. This is the party bus network. So you can group, you can gain everything. You can set everything together. So you can have, let's say you're doing 4 zones like shown on the boat here. You can have master control, so you can control all zones at the same time. You can have independent zones going. You can adjust the volume of each zone. So let's say Junior's down in the cabin, he's been grounded. You can shut that zone off completely. So he's really grounded. He's stuck in the cabin. You've got access to equalizer for every zone. It's just total control over everything you want. I mean, our traditional market has been wakeboard boats. Obviously, if you look on the screen, this is, big, 40-foot, 50-foot cabin cruisers that can have multiple people on it. You only get so many people on a wakeboard boat, but you might want to have different audio going in different zones. And this is the best way or the best brand to do it with. It's got control over everything.
It really is similar to an advanced, at home type of multi-room setup.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's probably the best way to put it. Good call.
Sometimes I'm paying attention.
You're smarter than you look. That's for sure.
That's not hard. All right. So next slide here is a whole bunch of icons, and icons means features. Please tell us about them.
Yeah, so I just wanted to touch on the flagship piece. So obviously you've got AirPlay on there when you're streaming your audio, so that's going to give you better sound quality than anything else. It's true IPX7 rating on it. Anything in the Apollo family of products, or it has their True Marine logo on the box, are all IPX7 rated. So that's splash, salt fog, UV testing, temperature testing, shock testing, vibration. And they don't just stick a label on it. They back it up. Everything with the Apollo name or the True Marine sticker on it is a 3-year warranty from the factory, which is
3-year warranty from factory.
3-year warranty on everything.
Marine unit. Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that covers all the Apollo series stereos and amplifiers, all the Signature series speakers and subwoofers, Signature series speakers and amplifiers, the XS series speakers and subs, FM series, and the NRX 300 remote control. So everything on that, 3-year warranty on it.
Nice.
That's the slide for the Apollo series of radios. So you've got the RA770, the flagship. The 670 is a step down. You go from 4 zones down to 3 zones on that piece. You've also got the Hideaway piece that we showed you earlier, the WB 670 Hideaway box, and then you've got the little mini unit. Sometimes you don't have room for a regular full-size radio, so we have the SRX 400, which is just a tiny little guy, so cute and dainty.
Oh.
The other thing that's really cool about all these radios, they're not full DIN style radio depths. So, side by sides, this fits in a pocket of a lot of side by sides as well. If you got a Polaris Razor or a Can-Am, something like that, that'll fit nicely in the little radio pockets.
Now, are there different power outputs from these different radios as well?
The head units are all amplified. They're all Class D amplifier built in. They're all 280 watts peak power, which is, as we know, it's max power on head units. So all of them have that built into it. Okay. Most of the guys that are using these are not using the internal power. I mean, if you're on a little Zodiac or something, maybe you're using the head unit power, but a lot of guys are using their zone. You're not buying a 770 with 4 zones of output and using the head unit power.
Gotcha. But I will note that the 770, the flagship piece rather, is the only one with full touch screen.
That is the only one with full touch screen. The other ones have full active buttons, like you see on the slide there. You got the 670, the SRX 400 all have active buttons.
Okay, very cool.
So that's the full lineup of the Apollo head units, and then we also have. Yeah, there's more. But wait, that's not all. It's like the Ginsu knives commercial. They're not short on head units. So the RA210 is one of our most popular units because if you don't need all the Wi-Fi networking capabilities that the high-end units do. You can go to the RA210. You still get that family look of products without all the bells and whistles, and obviously a much lower cost on the units. If you don't want, again, budget-wise, the RA55 and the RA60, you lose the full color screen. You go to just a bland screen, but yeah, in the sunlight, you can read that display in any conditions.
I was going to ask,
I've seen other
on boats, I've seen, okay, you're about to say the same thing I have. I've seen color displays on marine grade radios, and I mean, you can't see a thing.
I mean, there's a lot of brands on the market that call themselves marine, and they're not true marine radio. It's a car audio radio with some conformal coating circuit board, right? These guys this is where they live. They live in the marine environment. So these displays, no matter what the sunlight conditions are, directly on it, you can read that display day or night.
Sweet.
So the other cool piece there is a little one on the right-hand side is the BB100. Again, it's a black box hideaway piece that basically has a remote control for your key functions, your volume up and down, your track up and down, and power. But it's quite popular. I mentioned the Zodiac boats, which is, there's some local guys here that do these. I call them army boats because that's the only way I can describe it. It looks like something you would see on a Rambo movie, sailing down the river, fighting the whoever he's fighting.
For our younger viewers, that is an old 80s movie with Sylvester Stallone killing a lot of
people.
Hey,
come on. There was one in the 2000s where he was like 100 years old and still.
That's right.
The blood splatter everywhere. Yeah. But that's a cool piece too. It's a hideaway black box unit, and if you don't want to see anything, you just got a basic remote control up front. So that's pretty cool too.
Okay.
We do a lot of these. I was surprised at how many we actually do, especially out of the gate. But this is more your cash and carry. If you have a marina, and this is you have this in your showroom as a simple cash and carry. This is the head unit, and we call it the old deck and two packages back in the day. So this is the RA210 head unit. So you've got the nice cosmetics, the new look with the full color screen, and you go to the XS series speakers. So you can get them in the sports gray if you want that more of a wakeboard look to it, or you're a little more conservative side, you've got the full mesh white grill. So those two deck and two packages, very popular. And then there's a step down from those as well, where you lose the color screen. You go to the RA60 head unit, and again, they give that as an option on the. It's on the next slide, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the sport grills on that as well. And you've got the more conservative white grills in there. So not only do you have all those head units, you've got simple deck and two retail packages as well, which a lot of customers aren't going to spend $5,000, $6,000 on their first audio system. They want you to get a taste of it. So this is a great way to get a taste of it. You got a killer head unit, and you've got some good sounding speakers to go with it.
All
right. These are we do a ton of these too. The great add-on to every sale, the little Arx remote controls. I wish I had one here. I don't have any here to show you, but they're basically like a hockey puck size, super, super thin, and they're wireless. You can take that and put it anywhere you want on the boat. You can have it on a keychain if you want to hang it around your neck, which I don't recommend. But you can put these anywhere in the boat you want. So, you can walk around the boat with it wirelessly. You can stick it down on the helm.
Where I've seen these used a lot, Grant, is like, let's say the driver at the helm has the main control. Sometimes you put that on the passenger side so that they can control as well, or where they're sitting.
Passenger side, swim grid. You can do whatever you want. And guys will sell a head unit. They'll sell 3 or 4 of these remote controls with each head unit too. So they've got some spares. They're affordable enough. They're only $80 retail, so it's not like it's a crazy expensive.
And you can put as many as you want.
Yeah, you can put as many as you want.
Mm-hmm.
And then the NRX 300, if you want to match, your cosmetics of your main head unit, that is a wired remote control that you can hook up as well. It gives you the full but your 3-line display. It goes to your album, your artist, and the song on there. So you're not guessing what song the ARX, when you're tracking up and down, you don't know what the next song is. If you're on a playlist, right. This one will give you the name and everything on it. So pretty cool that way.
Just before we get away from the source units real quick, you said a word, power sport. Is this something that you're also going to be focusing with dealers to use in a power sport setting?
Yeah, the SRX 400, the little mini guy, Like I said, that's gonna fit in a lot of the pockets of those radios. So,
yeah,
if you're doing a side by side, anything like that, it's a really simple, nice, cool little unit, and it's full IP7 rated, so you can hose this thing down when you're done riding for the day. You're not going to worry about it shorting out or blowing up the radio, and it's 3-year warranty on it. So side by side guys are a little rougher than the Marine guys, so it's pretty durable
and dirtier.
A lot dirtier.
I seen you went for a ride not too long ago. We'll get to that. Okay, so
yeah,
staying on the theme of Apollos, the Apollo series. These are the amplifiers.
Yeah, so these are fairly new. They're obviously very new for us, but beautiful amplifiers. Really nice powder coat finish on it. Really nice compact chassis. This is the 4-channel version of it. This is 4x150. If you bridge it, it's pretty badass. 580 watts by 2 RMS at 4 ohms bridged. So it can double as a subwoofer amplifier if you want it, or big power to a set of tower speakers. Pretty unique feature on these. If you look at the bottom there, they're all using what I call Phoenix style connectors on it, so removable connectors. So your installer can basically do all his hardwire connections to these without having to hold this in his hand. And then when he's done, goes to the final installation, you just plug it in the Phoenix connectors on it. The other thing that's slick on these is they give you an amp mounting bracket in the box.
Oh, very nice.
So you can find out where you're going to put your amplifier in the boat. You screw this onto the panel where the amplifier is going. There's little notches on the back of the amplifier that happen to line up with this guy. It's a little hard to do it like this without this being mounted, but clips onto the back and you slide it down and that's locked in place. So from an install standpoint, you do all your hardwire connections to your connectors, leave those dangling loose, mount your bracket, you put the amplifier on, and then you plug in the plugs afterwards.
Great for servicing.
Doesn't get much easier. Yeah, super easy to service it. And like I said, from an installer standpoint, I haven't seen anything else like this, so very unique as far as an install.
The finish, you said powder coat. Is there a little texture to that, or is that smooth?
Yeah, it's got a nice little grain to it. I don't know if you can make it out on the screen or not, but it's just a gorgeous looking amplifier. Very clean, very simple. The LED on the side will let you know if there's any issues. If it's green, obviously everything is good. And there's different series of colors to let you know if the amp is in protection or if you've got low voltage issues. So you basically got a status light. If your customer phones you and says, Joe, my stereo's not working, you can ask him what color is the LED on the amplifier, and basically troubleshoot it over the phone. So whether that amp's got to be removed or you got to go do a service call, easy way to do it. There's 5 amplifiers in the line. My favorite one and our most popular one is the AP82400. It's an 8-channel amplifier, 8x150.
Ooh.
Or 4x580 when you bridge it. So gobs of power. Lots of different ways you can configure that. Obviously, you can do it as 6 channels for your in-belt speakers and then bridge a channel for your subwoofer. Very flexible. They've got a 6-channel as well, the 61800, 6x150 as well. All the ratings are basically the same. They're all 150 watts RMS on each channel. So again, very flexible. You can do 4 channels for your in-boats, bridge 2 channels for a subwoofer. Left, right tower speaker bridged at 580 by 2, and then you've got a subwoofer at 580 watts, 580 watts as well. So
I like the idea of that 8-channel powering 4 towers.
Yeah, I mean, God,
Yeah.
580 watts on each tower speaker. Like, look out. Yeah, hello, Cologne and noise ordinance complaints department
right.
here.
From one end of the lake to the other, no problem.
Yeah.
All right.
So really slick. The 4-channel obviously is 150 by 4, 580 by 2, and then they have a dedicated sub amp because they've got a beast of a subwoofer that we'll show you in a little bit here. It's 1100 watts RMS at 2 ohms, so big monoblock amplifier as well to match out the series. And then they have a little tiny one, a little zone amplifier, which is if you wanted to put a little 50 watt by 2 amp in a certain zone, you've got dedicated zone amplifiers as well. Yeah, like an adder. Perfect. Yeah.
I've got on the screen now Is this the next level down to Signature series?
Yeah. So this is what most people are probably familiar with is the Signature line. I've got one of those babies here. They're kind of nice. I try not to get my fingers on it because it has this gorgeous stainless steel top plate on it.
Oh, that doesn't look like the image at all.
No, the image looks like it's gray. These are actually, you can see, hey, look, I'm in this, like it's Ben Wu. It's got a beautiful stainless steel top plate on it. Obviously, that's removable for all your crossover settings, all your gain settings. Hopefully, your customer doesn't have an Allen key to access those and mess with what you've done. All your connections on the bottom. But big power, really cool looking amplifier. Your wife can do her hair after you set up the amplifier.
And I can see Derek. What's up, Derek?
Hey, Vendrasco is hiding. You can't hide, buddy.
You can't hide.
So yeah, these guys, again, big offering. There's an 8-channel in these as well. It's 100 by 8, so you go down a little bit in power from the Apollo series, but still 280 watts a channel bridge. 6-channel at 100 watts a channel. They've got a cool 5-channel amp. It's 80 by 4, and then you go to 330 watts on the sub channel, 4-channel, and a big 1100 watt dedicated monoblock. So little more traditional car audio amplifiers. With the Apollos don't have any gain controls. Again, you're going to use the Fusion Link on there to set up all your settings on it. This one's a little more old school. You take the top cover off, you've got your crossover settings, your gain controls, everything on there.
It's got an old school feel to it.
It's heavy, man. This is not no lightweight amplifier. Yeah, I need to go back to the gym.
All right.
Yeah, so there is a series below that as well. We don't bring them in because there's I don't think our customers anyway are going to use them. It's just limited power 2-channel and a limited power 4-channel in their SM series. We don't bring them in. We have them available. If someone does want them, we will bring them in for them. But
I'm going to imagine the 5-channel is the star here, Grant.
6s and 8s. 6s and 8s are most popular.
Oh, in the Signature, there's 6s and 8s in the Signature.
In the Signature and in the Apollo, they have a 6-channel and 8-channel.
Oh, okay.
And they have a 5-channel as well. But our most popular ones are the 6 and 8 because they're so flexible. You can do left-right speaker, subwoofer, tower speakers if you want to bridge it. Lots of different options for amplifiers, and the way last year went with shortage of electronics, it's nice to have another brand that has some product available. If one brand runs out, we've got another one. But if you haven't heard, we might be on the lookout for some shortages in amplifiers coming soon. China's in lockdown again with another COVID outbreak. So
yes, we've seen that news. Luckily for marine dealers, Trends has got lots. So called.
Yeah, we've loaded up. We learned our lesson last year. We ran short on amplifiers last year. We had the entire season. We didn't have a lot of amplifiers from one of our brands, so we loaded up early this year. We have them in stock now. We're prepared.
Ready to roll.
Yep.
Let's quickly shift over to the speaker or the drivers.
Yeah, so speaker offering. I've got some of these guys live here too. The pictures show off the RGB, which I didn't have connected here to show you, but whether you do, this is the Signature 3 series. So we have them available in the traditional marine white and also in the more, I like that wakeboard look, a little more aggressive with with the black and gunmetal and with the chrome accent on there. So great sounding speakers, fully IP6, IP7 rated. So you can hose these down. RGB lighting is built in. You've got your quick connectors on the back for the RGB lighting and your speaker connectors. One of the cool things with these speakers as well, this is a 6.5 inch, but the cutout is actually a 5 1/4. So we get a lot of calls for guys with older boats, and maybe they've got an old 5-inch speaker in there from, maybe not such a great brand, because back, 12 years ago, there wasn't great marine audio speakers. So these will actually drop into where a traditional 5-inch speaker would fit. So if you've got an older boat with 5-inch speakers, these are 6.5. Obviously, you're going to get more mid bass out of it. Obviously, better quality than what was available, 12, 15 years ago. And you can drop those right into a 5-inch hole. So pretty cool.
That's a really nice piece. That's a really nice piece for OEM integration. Really, is what it is.
Yep.
Right.
What else did I bring here? Oh, Wakeboard tower speakers.
Let's get a zoom in on this here. Oh man.
So really nice cosmetics. You've got the stainless look to match your in-boat speakers. You've got the coaxial design on the top. There's 3 different clamping systems. There's an X mount, there's a fixed clamp and a swivel clamp option. Obviously, you've got your RGB and speaker wire all in one housing. Kind of a cool feature on the back with the logo. If your speakers mount on the side of a tower, obviously your logo is crooked. You can just rotate that. So your logo is straight. I don't know if that's straight on the screen or not, but there you go. So now your logo is straight. So as far as the speaker offering goes, they do 3 cool sizes. The 6.5, obviously everyone does a 6.5. They do the 7.7 inch size, which JL Audio made famous in Mastercrafts and stuff like that. So we have a 7.7 that'll fit in those speaker locations. And they have an 8.8. So almost a 9-inch speaker, 9-inch coaxial.
Yeah.
So maybe you don't have room for a subwoofer on the boat, but if you can fit an 8.8-inch coax, you're going to get some pretty decent mid bass out of it. So 6.5, 7.7 on a coaxial, and the same thing in the tower speakers. So 6.5-inch tower, 7.7 tower, and they have an 8.8 tower speaker. So again, maybe you've got a guy that's 6'6" on a boat. He doesn't want to bang his head on his tower speakers. He can go to a 6.5 lower hang height.
Grant, I got to ask you, when it comes to the towers, because obviously you have a lot of different brands that sell premium tower speakers. Is this more in the intermediate price range, higher price range?
I wouldn't call them cheap. I wouldn't call them cheap. You're around the $1,500 retail price point, so it's not extreme. Okay. It's not up there crazy expensive.
Intermediate to high.
Yeah, I'd call it mid-level. I mean, there's other brands. There's some stuff you'll see on a boat that you wonder why they're charging $1,000 for them when it's a 6.5-inch car audio speaker in a can. These are not that. They're obviously made for the environment. They sound incredible. Very good sounding speakers. The RGB, they do something a little different as well, which you're seeing on theirs. They do cool white and warm white. So it's RGBW. So you can adjust your colors. Your traditional RGB, you can make it just pure white if you want. So you can have that LED white, or you can have that warm white, which my wife would like because she doesn't like the blue hinge on the LED side of things. And then you can also merge the cool white and warm white with the traditional RGB, so you can get even more color options with it. So if you don't want that, deep purple, you can go to a lighter purple because you can blend in the white lighting on it. So pretty cool, unique to them as well. And like I said, these guys live on the water, so every option possible when it comes to making your whatever color you want.
And the lighting part of it is, whether you're a fan of it or not, it's a huge thing for the marine customer, right? And the more control and the more options you have to customize, I think is definitely a great selling point. What is the control system here for the lighting, Grant?
So they have an RGBW RF remote control. So they have a wireless handheld remote control you can control it with. So you can have it beat to the music. You can have it fade through colors. You can select one color at a time if you want. So super easy to control. Nothing super high tech with the remote, but it does its job. It is a fuller size remote, so less likely to get lost in the boat like some smaller remotes I've seen in the market.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And then I gotta get my gym on again.
What are you doing
just to round out the Signature Series products. The little dainty subwoofer. Yeah, this is a beast, man. So this is their Signature Series 12.
That's a 12. It looks like a 15.
Yeah, it feels like a 15. So that's a 12. RGB lighting built into it as well. You can use it free air. You can build a box for it. Pretty crazy. 1100 watts power handling on it. So obviously you're going to give it one of those Apollo amps or the Signature amplifiers on it. But you want some bass, this thing's a beast. So they have a 10 and a 12, but I brought the 12 out. Just it's kind of showcasey.
That's very beef. Very, very beef.
Earlier, I talked about the packaging. Just quickly, I'll show you that too, because it is gorgeous, whether it's the head units or the speakers. Very nice retail packaging on it.
Oh, they don't mess around.
It's not your
It's reminiscent. You know what? It's reminiscent
plain
of
cardboard box with black print on it, right? It's gorgeous. So yeah, just wanted to show that off. It's very cool. If you're a retail store, I want to show it off that way.
Absolutely. Up next, we've got XS series speakers. So this is one level down, I suppose.
So we're going to skim through a lot of these speakers because our focus is going to be on the Signature 3. XS, we will have it available as well. They have it as you can get it in the traditional white and black or gunmetal gray grills. They have a subwoofer to match it too. You can get the RGB version of it is a different level of speaker. We'll have them available. I don't expect it to be a big seller. So far, we've seen most of the sales on the Signature 3 series, but we will have these available for retailers.
Okay.
There's a lot of speakers, man. So we can't carry them all. There's if you go to the next one, there's the EL series, which is their entry level line of speakers. It comes with the black or gray in the box grills, or you can do the sport grill with the RGB lighting on it. So again, lots of speaker options. Their idea is to make a retail price from anyone, so anyone can afford a Fusion brand of speakers. The FM series is their flush mount series. Great for bigger boats. Again, if you've got a drop ceiling, you want to put it in the wall of the cabin. You've only got a 3-inch, very shallow mounting depth on there, so it's more of a flush mount. You've only got the grill exposed to either the ceiling or the wall. So they got them in a 6.5-inch, 7.7 or an 8.8 round, and also with square grills depending on the boat you're using it, whether it's doing tile ceilings or in the walls.
I want to say, Grant, this is great for those guys that get those fleet gigs or those cruise gigs. Where you're doing like 60 speakers on a ferry or something. Like great option.
Absolutely.
All right.
And then they have their surface mount speakers. Again, they do a lot of this. We've seen this more on the call on the RV side of things. So if you've got, obviously, you don't have 2x4 studs on your walls in an RV. You got very thin walls. So these things basically mount the thickness of the drywall. So they're about they barely stick past like a 5-inch piece of drywall on it. The grill is on the front side. They invert the magnet, so it's in the front. But again, we'll have these available. It's not going to be a huge stocking item for it until we know what the market demands for it, but we have had some call for these for the RV market.
Okay.
Derek, if you can share my slide that I've got here, that's the head units are what we brought the line in to round out our offering. If dealers want to get serious about marine audio, we've always been a big big dealer or big proponent of having product in your store that you can display. So whether it's a tabletop one like we have here on the left with the Fusion product, or a big full demo board on the right hand side, that's obviously one of our wet sounds boards. But if you guys want to get serious about marine, then show people you have it. Don't have it in the back room or have one head unit on a board somewhere and think that you're in the marine business. If you show someone these displays, they know you're in the marine business. The example I've used to retailers before is you walk into a suit store and they don't have any suits. You don't ask them, do you have any suits? You just walk out. Right? They're not showing any suits. You just walk out. They don't ask if it's got it in the back. So don't expect your consumer to walk into your store and not see any marine on display and ask if you've got marine audio products. Have it there visible so they can see it.
I think we're done with the PowerPoint. So I have some questions for you, Grant, based on that last slide that you just showed with the demos. I noticed that was more of a tabletop kind of display for Fusion.
Yeah, so that one's
for the full size.
We will have something full size down the road. We haven't done big displays for a long time. Trends has been around for, we've been doing displays for 15, 16 years. So a lot of our key retail already have some kind of display in their showrooms from us over the years. The Fusion one, we looked at that for marine shops. So if you're a marina, you don't have room for a 6-foot tall, 4-foot wide display. You've got some room on your countertop, maybe on an end cap somewhere. Even some retail shops, you don't have room for a dedicated marine board. So Fusion has this one. It's cool. It comes with $2,000 at retail with the product already on the display. You get the display mounted, installed, wired. All you got to do is plug it into the wall. So there's no
turnkey.
Yeah, take it out of the box, plug it in the wall, and
sell.
It's also got a silent salesman TV screen on there, a little LCD monitor that's good, that basically runs through some of the key features of the product. So acts
Is
like
it a girl's voice with a New
salesman.
Zealand accent?
Well, it only comes through the audio if you're playing the audio system on it. But g'day, mate.
Cool.
Buy some speakers.
Right? I can't do it, but yeah, that's a pretty good one. Took some notes here. I just want to circle back on a couple key points that we learned about this presentation that we've had today. So number one, really, really impressive lineup when it comes to the source unit offering. And you mentioned it, that this is kind of where the focus will be, but it's blatantly obvious that they've spent a lot of R&D development, so on and so forth, to put forth that source unit. I just want to ask you that question. So, there are a lot of source units out there. If I ask you like that, 2-3 points, why are these source units superior, or in your opinion, something a dealer should definitely take a closer look at?
Well, again, going back to what we said about the True Marine series, these are dedicated Marines head units. They're not a car audio radio with some conformal coating on the circuit board. You can stick a hose on these and soak them down. Obviously, boats are left out in the water all times of year, whether it's winter. Vancouver, we get rain from September to May. Sometimes that boat's out in the driveway and it's getting wet. So these are made for the elements. They back it up with a 3-year warranty on it. A lot of other brands.
All source units, just to be clear, all the source units.
All their Apollo head units are,
Apollo.
which is basically everything except the RA60 and the RA70.
Okay.
They give you 1 year on those, but everything else is 3 years on it. But they're all true IP7 or IPX67 rated. Other brands
cool.
can't say that.
The other takeaway I have from here was the features, like lots of features that you don't typically see in a lot of marine style source units. I mean, let's be honest, a lot of them is, obviously volume and Bluetooth, right? Maybe a Sirius XM compatibility. I feel that these are definitely offering quite a level up as far as features.
Yeah, the zone control is one thing that really steps them apart from some other brands. Some brands have got 2 zones. These have got 3-4 zones, so you can control the entire boat. Obviously designed for bigger boats. You're not going to have 4 zones on a wakeboarding boat, but just the ease of use, you really have to grab one in your hand and use the scroll wheel on it to go through the menu. It's so easy to use. It is like, I've never picked up a manual and gone through these. Some of these other brands that you see, you've got to read the manual to even figure out what the hell you're doing. And we're in the business, which we're expecting Joe Consumer to figure it out. This is super easy.
Excellent.
You really have to just grab one and go through it. It's super, super easy to use.
Let's let the people know. So this is a new line for 2022 for Trends Electronics. We talked about all the lines and where the focus is going to be. What do people need to do, or what do dealers need to do to get more info and see if they can become the new Fusion dealer?
I think we've done a pretty good job of getting the news out to the market that we have it, just based on the amount of dealers that were previous dealers through other distributors before, finding out that we have it. One thing that we did a little differently is when we looked at our pricing on the product, we went retail backwards. We wanted to make sure our dealers made a certain amount of margin on the product first, and then worry about the margin we make on it at the end, which is not very good, to be quite honest. But that's beside the point. We wanted to make sure our dealers made good money on the product. People want to make good money on the head units. Traditionally, head units have been lower margin for Marines, so we wanted to make sure that they make good coin on the head units. So when we sent out the word and sent out the price list to a bunch of existing dealers, they jumped from the one distributor to us. So it's been exciting, man. Like, we probably had about 60 dealers out of the gate hit us up. So it's exceeded expectations, which has been a challenge trying to keep up with inventory, to be honest, but we'll get there, man. We're just starting the season.
Well, it's pretty exciting, man. Listen, Grant, I think we covered it. Let's not forget, though, I'd love to hear more about, or some feedback about those Apollo amplifiers, and that monster sub looks sick. So hopefully we'll be able to circle back on that. But other than that, make sure you get a hold of Grant and his team at Trends if you want to use some Fusion goodies, right?
All right. Thanks, Ben.
Can't
Appreciate
thank
it.
you enough, man. Thanks for being on our first Connected for 2022. We'll see you soon enough.
Cheers.
Take care, Grant.
Right on, brother.
There you have it, folks. I hope you enjoyed this Connected session all about Fusion Audio, Marine Audio, in fact, and their new distributor here in Canada, Grant McFatter, with us from Trends Electronics. I want to remind you to continue tuning in to CMA Networks, because up until April 6th, we've got this whole Marine Sessions deal going on. Every single day, we're going to feature another marine audio brand. And our job, of course, is to give you, the up-to-the-minute news and insight to all the brands that you need to know about if you're getting serious about selling and servicing the marine audio customer. Lastly, I mentioned at the top of the show, make sure you visit our brand new redesigned website found at cmanetworks.com. Search through hundreds of videos that we have cataloged for you from all your favorite brands right across the 12-volt electronics industry. Let us know what you think, and make sure you follow us on all our social media. Because really, we put a lot of work into it. The brands have put a lot of work into it, and all your favorite trainers have put a lot of work into it. So on that note, thanks again for tuning in to this session of CMA Connected, as usual, presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.